Hi, welcome everybody to another episode of Cooking with Cops. We're doing this program for the purpose of telling you who we are as a police department and also connecting with members of the community so we can learn from the community and better serve the community with a better understanding. I'm Adam Casebolt. I am assigned as a supervisor of our community outreach unit, and our office is based in the Student Union on the main campus. I'm joined here by Officer Arietta Cavalla.
Hi, my name is Arietta Cavalla. I work for Sergeant Casebolt and Officer Spoon in Community Partnership Office at the Student Union.
Also joined by Austin.
Hi, my name is Austin Wilson. I'm currently a senior majoring in political science and criminal justice, and I serve as the student body vice president.
And Meg.
Hi everyone, my name is Meg Hall. I am a senior and a legal studies major, and I am your student body president.
Today we're in the Northview Apartments, beautiful apartment complex at the UCF campus. We're going to be making mug cakes. It's a really simple recipe that any college student can put together with a few ingredients and a microwave. Alright, so I've pre-measured and laid out all of our ingredients to make this easy on us. So first, where this came about, my family, we enjoy making this recipe. It really started for me at like 10 o'clock at night when I had a craving. And I found a really super simple recipe that takes less than 5 minutes. I don't have to run out to the store and I don't have to spend hours cooking. Real simple ingredients. The first one we start with is flour. You're going to start with a 1/4 cup of flour and a microwave-safe coffee mug. And you're going to pour the flour into the coffee mug as your first ingredient. You're going to start with dry ingredients.
Here you go, Meg. I'm sure this is the first time someone's getting new flowers. That's awesome.
That was pretty good though. So the next ingredient after flour is going to be 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. The next ingredient is baking powder. It's going to be a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, followed by 2 to 3 tablespoons of sugar. Now I say 2 to 3, I like to go with 3 because I like sweet, so feel free to add in 3. And then the last dry ingredient is going to be 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. That should be kosher salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. And that finishes out the dry ingredients. And then we're going to mix them all up. All right, so we've mixed up our dry ingredients. Now we're going to move to the wet ingredients. There's 2 wet ingredients. The first one is vegetable oil. All right, so we're going to add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil or similar oil of your choice. And that's going to get added right into the dry ingredients. And the other wet ingredient is milk. Again, whatever type of milk you feel comfortable with. I'm using whole milk. It's a 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon. So this is where the recipe gets a little tricky. It's 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon for the milk. And you'll add that in there as well. As you mix this up, it will start to get real thick. And the key here is making sure that all the dry ingredients get wet.
Okay, I think you're good.
All right, so now that we've all mixed it up and we have chocolate cake batter all over our spoon, Austin, what do we do with these spoons?
I think we gotta eat it.
We gotta taste it, right? Cake batter. I like cake batter.
That's
Awesome.
really good.
All right, so we mixed up our mug cakes. So now it's ready to bake, right? Where are we gonna bake it today?
Microwave.
Microwave. We're going to use a microwave. Most college students in their apartments or their dorms or their off-campus apartments all have a microwave. Really simple to use. Put this microwave-safe mug in the microwave.
So Adam, I actually have a funny story about that because I actually lost a non-microwave safe mug to my microwave a couple years back because I put it in and didn't check first to make sure if it was safe, and it melted in my microwave and it came out and it kind of looked like a Salvador Dali painting. It was not cute. So gotta be really careful.
And that's a good point. Thank you, Meg, for bringing that up.
Of course.
That's definitely a big conversation, actually, is an opportunity here to talk about kitchen safety and microwave safety. It's one of our calls for service that we in the fire department respond to regularly is fire incidents or kitchen incidents involving the microwave. So I do actually have a couple tips for microwave safety. This would be a good chance to mention that. The first thing is you always want to be present in the kitchen when you're cooking. You never want to leave the kitchen unattended. We've had mishaps where things happen when people are away from the kitchen. You want to make sure you're using a microwave-safe mug. Make sure you're not putting metallic things in the microwave. They don't react real well. Microwaves don't react well to metal. So follow those kitchen safety things and just make sure you're present, paying attention to what you're doing in the kitchen, and that includes the stovetop area. Most of the kitchens on campus actually have these fire extinguisher systems up on the stove area. They also come with a fire extinguisher usually on the wall or somewhere present in your kitchen. Make sure you use those, right? They are often kitchen rated, but the most important thing with fire safety for sure is to dial 911. Do not hesitate. Don't run down to your duty station, the RAs. The first priority is to dial 911. So make sure you share that message with the students at UCF.
Absolutely.
Can I add something
Sure.
actually? Okay, Pop-Tart wrappers and Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit wrappers, not microwave safe. I should know. Right.
Yeah, awesome. That's hey, we all learn from experience. That's for
Yes.
sure.
Absolutely.
So after we put our mug though in the microwave, what we're going to do is we're going to put it on for about 70 seconds. Every microwave is a little bit different. So if you find that it needs to go a little longer, you can put it in a little longer after you get done at 70 seconds. And you should kind of watch it through the glass and you can kind of see the cake rise in the microwave. All right. So this is what your mug cake looks like before it comes out of the microwave. Looks like a cake, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so we have one more ingredient we can put in at this point, and that is chocolate chips. I don't measure chocolate chips, I just throw in chocolate chips. You can actually do this before you microwave it if you want. They kind of sink down in there a little bit, or you can kind of sprinkle a few on top. And then you give it a few minutes and it'll start to kind of melt a little bit. I like, more solid chocolate chips, so I kind of put them in here at the end, but you can do them in the beginning too, and they'll be more melted before you microwave. And through television magic, bam, we have all baked our cakes and we're ready to eat.
Oh wow. Really good.
So what do you guys think?
That's our complete breakfast.
Yes, it's fantastic.
So we are filming this in the morning, so anybody had chocolate cake for breakfast in the morning?
Yes.
There you go. Don't worry, Mom's not here. She's
There
not
you
here
go.
to tell us we can't have chocolate cake for breakfast, so. Very moist.
So, Arietta, I was curious about your path to working for UCF PD. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came to work for this department?
Yes, so I'm originally from Kosovo, Europe. I was born and raised there. I was here exchange student 96. I just told my age, but it's okay. So I really loved Orlando, especially Florida. So I came back here. I went to UCF. I was a student here.
That's awesome.
Yes, so then I love the family-oriented environment that they have, and I wanted to work here, and I wanted to give back what they gave for me. So I work now with Sergeant Casebolt in community partnership and Officer Spoon, and I love it. I love it. It's in the student union, the office, and what better way to be closer to students.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is so sweet. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of our community, our family.
Thank you. Absolutely. Community is one of the tenets of the UCF Creed. It's my favorite tenet, and I'm sure it's Meg's as well. And of course, community partnerships are so important. So, what got you into working into community partnerships, and why are those so important at UCF?
It is. So just before COVID hit last year, I was reassigned to our community outreach center. And I love it. It was a great opportunity to work full-time in the community. I've worked for UCF Police Department for over 20 years now, and we are a community-oriented agency. So no matter where you work in the agency, you're going to be involved in the community. I just get to do it full-time now, and I get to really see students each and every day in a great environment, and I get to kind of coach and teach them and guide them and help them with safety issues and just questions in general. I was a student at UCF, so I was in their shoes, and I received my graduate degree from UCF in 2006. So I have some idea of some of the things that they go through, but every day it's a new experience. It's a new opportunity to meet a new student in a different place and be able to help them along.
That's awesome. Well, I know we both appreciate the commitment that you all have to the UCF community and all the work you do.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I actually had a question for you guys. So it's interesting. I never went the leadership route in SGA. I was busy on school and other activities, but I imagine it's a monumental job and task for you. You almost have two full-time jobs, being a student and being a student leader.
Yes.
So what what got you guys both into to being a student leader? How'd you follow that path?
So we both started in student government our freshman year. I started in the Student Government Leadership Council, which is kind of an intro program for freshmen, sophomore, and transfer students. Austin started in the election commission. But I would say that I think something similar to both of us is it wasn't just our student government involvement that got us here, it was our involvement all across campus. So, I mean, things like your OSI trek, homecoming, night-thon, volunteer UCF. I'm a member of Greek Life. We're both involved with President's Leadership Council.
Yeah.
And so just every bit of those involvements help lead us on this path as well.
Absolutely, and coming from me, I have an advocacy background in a lot of areas, working with Habitat for Humanity as their advocacy director for 2 years, and then I started off at UCF as a biomed major, and so that allowed me to get involved in the organization Hearts for the Homeless. So I was able to see all the things that were happening in the Orlando community, and I was like, what can I do to help fix it in some way? So then I started joining more of those, getting more, advocating for different things and everything, and then through student government, I saw the leadership opportunity and potential to make that impact through the executive branch, through the cabinet, and through all the other areas.
Wow, that's amazing. You guys have quite a lot of activity and background. That's pretty amazing.
We were just talking about that you guys have your hands full as a student, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you so
Well, thank
much. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's humbling and very impressive, and I know there's a lot of students like you out there that are very
Yes.
busy in activities. I meet them every day. They're involved in student clubs and organizations, and it's always inspiring to see the magnitude of impact that students can have on the UCF community. So
Absolutely.
thank you guys for this opportunity. It's awesome. We get to have chocolate cake for breakfast.
Yes, this is fantastic.
Yes, thank you.